Hello everyone, how's it going? Scrembo here once again from Emotional Crypto Trading. We're continuing with our video series related to Binance tutorials. And today we're going to take it about the liquidation function, the liquidation engine on Binance futures. What does it mean, liquidation price? How does it functions? And what are the most important things? So it is quite simple that the liquidation is always correlated with the leverage, including with the size of your balance, with the type of leverage that you're going to request. So there's a couple of things that are determining the liquidation price, and I'm going to represent it in the following way. We're going to make a circle here, and I'm going to say L, that stands for liquidation. Number one thing is we have another circle that stays here with the B, that is related with the balance. How much money do we have in our margin balance? It influences the liquidation price. Number two is the type of leverage, which we're going to say T. Is it cross or is it isolated? There's two differences. I have a video explaining what's the difference between the cross and isolated leverage. Then we have another circle here talking about the L, that stands for the leverage amount. Whether you go 10x or 20x, there are differences, and that is a heavy representation in your liquidation price. Then what else do we have? Basically, we have the Binance engine of calculation, the liquidation price, that has its own index depending on the volatility and market conditions. So we're going to stand with an E letter. There are a couple of things here which are determining the liquidation price directly, influencing it directly. There's not just one thing that determines the liquidation price, as you can see. It is a combination of all these things that are heavily important. Liquidation price is functioning quite simple. When it's touched, your whole position will be wiped out. Very simple. If you're trading on the cross leverage, then your whole margin balance will be wiped out. That's the way it works. If you're trading on the isolated leverage, then not your whole margin balance will be wiped out, yet whatever you dedicate and you isolate out of the margin balance into that specific trade will be wiped out. Because that's the difference. Cross leverage considers your whole margin balance in the game, right? So when you're trading on cross leverage, and the isolated is actually considering that specific amount you're dedicated. It doesn't touch your margin balance. You're isolating a specific amount, and that's what is involved. That's the only thing you can get liquidated. Both have advantage and disadvantage, and that's a different discussion. We're going to discuss about that as well at some point. So there's a couple of things to know about that. One of the major influences towards the liquidation price will be the leverage amount that you're going to go with. For example, if I go on a higher leverage, means that I'm getting more money from the exchange, and then the exchange is going to give me a high risk type of a trade. Simple, because the liquidation price is going to be closer to me. The smaller is the leverage amount, the far away is going to be the liquidation price. Very simple. Very, very simple. And you can do the exercise and the math on the calculator. The calculator can be discovered right here. I have a specific video about that as well. You can check that out, how to use the calculator on Binance Futures Market. This button here is the calculator, which is the first thing you need to do with the liquidation price discussion. We'll go to the liquidation price over here, and then you say, I'd like to entry at 20,000 for current price 430, for example. I'm going to have a final quantity. If I go on a 10x position, I have a Bitcoin in my balance, which is something that I like to put into, and then I get a 10x leverage. I'm going to have a quantity of 10 Bitcoins. 1 multiplied with 10 is 10 BTCs. Then if I must have a balance. For example, what if I have a balance of 50 grand, right? They just hit the calculate button, and I'm gonna get the liquidation price Binance is going to have for my order on the type of cross leverage with one-way mode. That's something to consider. But this is a place that you definitely need to know about the liquidation price. This is the place you can discover what would be your liquidation price if you would trade this thing. If you would entry at 20,430, if you would have that quantity, and if you would have that balance. This is a great way to simulate your liquidation price on Binance Futures through the calculator. Very, very important. Once you agree with that, well, that should be the only time you open up, and you should open up a trade. I'm going to go with the LTC right now, Litecoin against USDT. We're going to go 10x leverage. We're going to do a market order and get into our trade basically here. Because I wanted to share with you how the liquidation price works when a trade is active. So we've got our trade active, it's running, it's on 30 positions. We have our LTC here. We have the leverage amount selected over there. We have the size, we have the entry, we have the current price, we have the liquidation price. Attention, this is where the discussion begins at a different level. This is no longer a simulation, which is something we did through the calculator. In terms of before opening a trade, you definitely want to be comfortable with the liquidation price you would have. So $41 is my liquidation price with this specific size, with this specific margin balance, and with that specific leverage amount. At the current situation, this is my liquidation price, which means if the price of LTC from 49 crashes down and it goes to 41.17, I am going to be liquidated. What does it mean? Well, it means that I'm going to lose my whole margin balance will go to 0. Because this is a cross type of a leverage, right? I put into 14.67 USDT, which is my initial margin. That is multiplied with a 10x leverage. So my whole size is worth $146. $146 is what my whole size is worth. 146. I'm not going to lose this specific $14.67 if the liquidation price is touched. I'll lose my whole balance. This is the way it functions on a cross market. Very, very simple. Now, once again, you definitely need to know what's the difference between the cross leverage and the isolated leverage, because you need to understand why the whole balance is getting lost. It's because of the type of the cross leverage that, like I told you, includes your whole margin balance for your trades. It's not isolated. So once my liquidation price is touched, everything is going to be wiped out. Very simple. This is no longer a simulation, which is why I'm suggesting you to do always the math on the futures calculator. You go down to the liquidation price and you make sure about the liquidation price before opening up your trade. You definitely need to know what is it, and if you accept the situation and the conditions the exchange is giving to you. If you do so, then you open up the trade. Otherwise, you are not supposed to open up the trade, because you might not be happy about the liquidation price, could be too near to you, and then you have to exit out of the trade. Opening and exiting a trade is costing a fee. There is a video about that as well. So it is not a fun and a good idea to open up and closing down trades because you're not happy with the liquidation. You need to do the simulation, right? You need to do the simulation, and that's for free. So that's pretty much all, folks, for the video. Quite simple. Liquidation price means that you're getting liquidated. Now, there's two ways: the cross liquidation and the isolated liquidation. That refers to the type of the leverage you go with. Let's do the isolated liquidation as well. Let's talk about that one too. I think that's a good idea. So instead of sitting on the cross, we're going to change the margin mode. We're going to go isolated. So in this case scenario, I'm going to go with my market order again, and I'll put my 50%. Basically, I'm going to buy my LTC through the market order. But now it's something very interesting, that my liquidation price is no longer at $41, as you can see, under the same conditions of value. It's just the type of leverage that has changed from cross to isolated. Now it's much closer to me. It's at $45 because now we have a margin that is isolated from my margin balance, right? It is totally different from my margin balance. It's isolated. If I get liquidated at $45, I'm gonna get my 13.27 margin balance lost. It's the whole thing I'm gonna get lost. I'm not gonna get anything else lost and liquidated on this thing. Just my 13.27 USDT. My margin balance that I can see right now stays intact because the isolated type of order is deducting from the margin balance the value. If you have seen that previously, I had 26 bucks over there. It has not been deducted. It is deducted live as the order goes on. But in this case scenario, it is isolating it from the beginning and it's excluding the portion that is dedicated toward that specific order. So if that specific order is getting wiped out, is getting liquidated, you are gone. Margin ratio means that how much space there's still left until you get liquidated. There's just 4.68% of my margin utilized. If we are going in loss, margin ratio is increasing, right? And it's getting closer and closer to 100% utilization, which means liquidation, right? So the closer it's to 100%, the liquidation appears. You can also add extra money to the margin, to your isolation, by clicking on that specific button like this. And then we're adding margin. We have max addable 13.36. We would like to add another 10 bucks, right? Which confirms it in that form and then changes our liquidation price, because right now we have a bigger margin in the game, a bigger balance dedicated towards the trade, which is definitely decreasing the liquidation price, right? Because there's more money on our side. Simple. If we increase the leverage, that means we're going to have a bigger size of the trade, because we can also increase the leverage by changing it from here. You click on the leverage like this and you click on the plus and then confirm it. So then you're going to have a bigger size, and again the liquidation price is getting nearer and closer to you. Pretty simple, very easy in the way it functions. You just got to get the logic behind it, and you can ask me questions in the comments area. Like the video. This is pretty much all, folks, around the liquidation price. Like I told you, we have tutorials and we have a whole lot of other things. As well, for those of you looking to become traders, to become full-time traders, or to become part-time traders and do this activity professionally and correctly, I've been trading since 2014, and I do one-to-one coaching live directly with me, where I take you by hand and teach you how to trade. For those of you interested in such a thing, make sure to check this video till the end. Watch this video till the end to find out more about how does it functions. Have a beautiful time. Subscribe, hit the like button, and I'm waiting you till the end. And for those of you interested in my complete education, one-to-one coaching program directly with me, if you like to be traders, if you want me to be your mentor, one-to-one live conversations, live coaching directly with me at scrembocoaching.com. You have the website describing how does it functions. This is running between 4 to 6 weeks for anyone out there that is looking for becoming a serious trader. Feel free to check out the video, and you can qualify for a free conversation with me of 15 minutes where I can describe you how the whole coaching program works, where I'll take you by hand and teach you how to build a successful trading business from A to Z. Basically, this is my passion. Been trading since 2014, and I decided to put together a private one-to-one. That's where people can learn. I don't think people can become traders from tutorials or videos. You can learn technical things from tutorials, but you cannot trade. Trading is a comprehensive activity. It has to be done in an intensive way of working with someone that is directly taking care about your problems and knowledge. So this is what I personally believe. This is what quality means, in my opinion. For those of you interested, feel free to check out, and I'll get back to you on your email with the offer or Telegram. Make sure to register now for more informations, as well as for those of you interested, scrembocoaching.com/today. We have our trading journey for those of you that are in a position where they would like me to trade for them. We have this opportunity. There is no upfront cost. We're just charging a specific percentage out of the profits we achieve. On the left side of the page, we have the trading performance documented since September 2017, and then on the right side of the page, we have the instructions on how to join. That's pretty much all, folks. All the pages and URLs, scrembocoaching.com/today. Meanwhile, the main coaching page is simple, can be found in the description area or comments area right below the video. A beautiful day, folks. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and there is a playlist about Binance tutorial videos. There's going to be more than 20 videos here about it, and feel free to check it out. Have a beautiful time.